Hi everyone, and thanks so much for joining us today. We're here with Delta's Director of Sales for Africa, Middle East and the Indian subcontinent. His name is Jimmy Eichelgren, and he's going to be talking to us about Delta's plans to return to South Africa. Thanks so much for joining us today, Jimmy.
Pleasure.
Great. Jimmy, I understand that Delta plans to come back to South Africa on the 14th of December. Can you tell us what your schedule will look like going forward?
Sure. Well, as you know, Delta's been flying to South Africa for over 16 years, so we do have quite a bit of experience and a good reputation in the market. Delta will be flying 4 times a week initially from Atlanta to Johannesburg, then on to Cape Town and back to Atlanta. As I said, 4 times a week. We want to, of course, increase that to a daily service, but that, of course, we need to build up. And the other important thing is that we'll be operating on an Airbus 350 aircraft, which is the flagship aircraft of our fleet. So that's what we're starting, 14th of December.
So exciting that you'll be back in South Africa. And why have you picked 14th of December? A lot of airlines have introduced flights in October now with the news that our borders have reopened this month. Why are you waiting until December?
Well, first of all, there was uncertainty about South Africa would be opening up. And with the start of Cape Town, you've got to ramp up. You know, we haven't been flying to Cape Town for quite a number of years. So there is a ramp up. And then, of course, as a commercial airline, we've got to build up some passenger demand. When I say passenger demand, what about leisure travel? What about business travel? You don't just switch it on from 1 minute to the next. So that is why we've decided on the 14th of December. And also, hopefully by that time, all the little kinks and the various queries have been ironed out, that we can operate, everybody knows where everybody stands, and we can have a very, very successful operation. So we're confident on the 14th of December based on government regulations.
That's really great, because there have been a few teething problems this week, which I'm sure you've heard about.
I've heard about it. That's one reason why I'm pleased that we are starting a little bit later.
Great. Okay. And obviously, you know, this is fantastic news for South Africans traveling to America and right in time for December holidays, etc., etc. But from an inbound market, at the moment, regulations are not permitting Americans to come to South Africa for leisure purposes. And this is sort of December is going to be the peak leisure season from an inbound perspective. Do you think those regulations will change before that, or will you be focusing specifically on business travelers?
Well, at the moment, I think we've got to be looking at business travel. And one of the reasons is, even though, you know, airlines, we've got various segments of the market. And of course, leisure is very, very important. But one's also got to be realistic, is that when passengers come from the USA on leisure trips, generally it's what we call a big trip. It's either a bucket list trip, it's an expensive thing, but, you know, they don't just come for a weekend like they would come to Europe. So it does take time. And of course, they are rather hesitant at this time because of the uncertainty about when they will be allowed to travel. So be realistic. And I think inbound tour operators would agree with me, is that it's getting awfully close to maximizing leisure travel for December. And I think what you're really looking at is leisure travel starting to pick up in the new year. I hope it's soon, but one has got to be a little bit realistic about it.
And from an outbound perspective, your traffic on the Johannesburg-Atlanta route, is that predominantly business traffic? Normally, sort of historically.
You know, we've been very, very, well, had really good market segments. You know, we offer the products travelers, for business travelers. We are a full service carrier, and that's what we are. So we rely on all segments, but of course we've done very well in the business travel market. And I think we'll do very well as things get back to normal in business travel and leisure travel.
Great. Okay. And then, I mean, you're talking to us from the UK at the moment, is that right?
Yes, rainy UK. I'm just looking out the window and it's raining. Yes.
I'm sorry. It's a beautiful spring day in South Africa. Maybe you could...
Make me jealous.
So, Jimmy, maybe you could shed some light on what's happening from a global perspective. What are you seeing? I mean, we know what's happening in South Africa, but what are you seeing from a travel demand perspective globally?
Well, it's pretty dire. I mean, I can give you some statistics about Delta, and it just shows how severe this has affected the travel industry or the number of flights. Although things have picked up, Delta in September flew 3,000 flights a day. Look, we are a huge airline, and 3,000 flights a day is big. But system-wide, that is a 57% reduction over 2019 in September.
Sure.
Now, breaking that down, of that 57%, 75% of the reduction was international. So we're basically only flying 25% of our international services. So that shows us the severity of this pandemic and what it's done to the travel industry. Luckily for Delta, you know, we came into this crisis with a very, very strong financial position. But, you know, it's still been very, very tough, and it's tough for every single airline. So we're looking at it, you know, hopefully building up. But, you know, what all the experts are saying is that leisure travel will bounce back before business travel. People are reluctant to travel. Business or companies are, you know, are more cautious. The one big thing that we've been doing as part of this strategy, we've been in the forefront of health and safety. Just as an example, on all our flights, we block the middle seat. And this is policy. It's not you might get the middle seat blocked. All of our middle seats on our aircraft are blocked, and that's guaranteed through to the 6th of January. And that just shows our commitment with health and safety. Of course, there's all other protocols that take place, which a lot of airlines are doing, but we're really, really focused on that. But we've got to get, I think, a vaccine in place to get confidence back. And then hopefully travel will come back strong.
Well, it's lovely to know about the middle seat, and that would then obviously affect the Johannesburg-Atlanta route. So some peace of mind.
Absolutely.
For passengers traveling over the December season, which is traditionally quite busy. Jimmy, thank you so much for talking to us, for sharing information about what's happening both on a South African perspective.
Absolutely. Well, I'm delighted to have the opportunity to speak to you. Thank you so much, Sarah. Thank you.
Thanks, Jimmy.